Hey guys, welcome back to another sewing tutorial. If this is your first time here, you're welcome to Sew with Mediva. And if you're a returning subscriber or a returning viewer, thank you for sticking to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to cut and sew this trendy crisscross neckline Bubu dress. And I achieved this style using 2.5 yards of crepe fabric. So if this is something you are interested in, make sure to keep watching. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. So I made use of 2.5 yards of this beautiful crepe fabric. You can need up to 3 yards or 4 yards depending on the length of your own top. And I have my other materials here. So we're going to start by drafting the back panel on the pattern paper. So I have my paper here and it's not in a fold of two. You can as well draft on your fabric directly. I'm using the paper so that you guys can see and understand it better. So the wideness of the paper is my shoulder measurements divided by 2, which is 8 inches, plus the sleeve length. It's a cut together sleeve, so my sleeve length is 10 inches. So 10 inches plus the 8 inches gives me a total of 18 inches. So if my fabric is in a fold, I'll be having a fold of 18 inches for the back. So for the length of my top, I have 30 inches here, which includes the folding allowance at the base. So the first thing to do is to mark out a starting line at the upper part of your fabric, which is going to serve as the shoulder line. So from the center back, I'm going to mark the neck width, which is 3 inches, and the depth of the neckline for the back is 1.5 inches. I'll take my ruler and connect the points together this way, and then I'll come over to the other side of my paper, which is the side of my top, and come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and then go ahead to connect it. So we're just drafting this like a simple bubu, like we're making a bubu dress or a bubu top. So from that point, I'll take my armhole measurements divided by 2, which is 8 inches, plus 1 inch for seam allowance, making 9, and then I'll extend the line this way. So this line, which is going to be like the chest line, I'm going to mark my hip measurements divided by 4, which is 11 inches for me, and I'll add 3 extra inches to it, 2 inches for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance, which makes 14 inches. So I'll mark the 14 inches this way and extend it all the way down to the full length, and then curve out the armhole area. So this is basically all for the back. I'll go ahead now to cut it out. So we're going to use the same pattern to cut out the front and the back panels. So after cutting, I'll place this pattern now on my fabric. So my fabric is in a fold of 2 before I placed my pattern paper on it. So towards the center back, I'll be having a half an inch joining allowance there. So I'm trying to manage my fabric, that's why I am cutting this way. I'll add half an inch on the shoulder area for the joining allowance, and then I'll cut out the sides. I'll cut out the neckline, and then I'll leave half an inch to join the two fabrics together. So I'll just notch the point where my joining is going to stop. So after cutting out, I'll take out the pattern from the fabric, and then you can see that we have two pieces of the back panel. So I'll take it to my sewing machine now, and I'll place them right sides facing each other and go ahead to join it together so I can have one fabric. So moving over to the front panel, I'm going ahead to place my pattern paper on another fabric that is in a fold of 2. So towards the center front, you can see that I have excess fabric, which is going to create the crisscross effect. So the amount of fabric you're going to have as the extra in front is going to be determined by the full length of your top. So the full length of my top is 30 inches. So that means the excess I'm going to have in front here will be 30 inches. I hope you guys understand. So if the full length of yours is 35 inches, that means you're going to have 35 inches extra towards the center front. So after doing that, I'm going to come down and get the midpoint of this new fabric, which is going to be around 15 inches. I'll mark 15 inches there and then take my long ruler and just connect it all the way down. So the next thing is to mark the neckline for the front panel, and I'll be making use of 7 inches. You can do 5 inches, you can do 6 inches, but for mine I made use of 7 inches. So I'll go ahead to highlight the neck width on the fabric, as you can see, and then connect the points together. So from that neckline for the front, I'm going to just curve it all the way to meet that 15 inches line. So this is what we have for the front. So from that 15 inches mark, I'm going to go ahead and just follow the shape to cut it out. So you can see that the front panel looks just like a wrap top, and then I'll cut out the sides like this. So we are basically done with the front and the back panel of this top. So we have two pieces of the front, as you can see. So let's go ahead to start joining the fabrics together. So back to the table, this is the front panel and we have two pieces of it, and this is the back. So I've gone ahead to join the two pieces of the back panels together, and then I'll open up the seam and iron it so that it appears neat on the right side. So after that, I'm going to then join the shoulder areas of the front and the back panels. I'll place the front panel on it. I'll mesh the shoulder areas together this way, and then use half an inch to close it up. When I'm done with that, I'll fold in the sleeve area, and then I'll place the other side of the front panel, making sure the right sides are facing each other, and then go ahead to join the shoulder areas together using half an inch. After that, I'll finish up the base of my sleeve by folding in twice and stitching all the way down, and then I'll place them right sides facing each other again to close up the sides. So I'm going to be using 1 inch to close up the sides all the way down. So when I'm done doing all of that, I'll show you guys. So after closing up the sides, this is what it looks like. I've also closed up the shoulders and I finished up the sleeves. So I'll just cut this side of my seam opened so that my fabric relaxes very well on the right side. So let's go ahead now to flip it over to the right side. So you can see that what we have now looks just like a wrap top. You can see. So you just go ahead now to iron it out very well. Go ahead to iron it out. So after that, before we proceed, I'm going to finish up the base of this top. I'll fold it in twice and stitch it all the way around it. So after doing all of that, this is what it looks like. I've finished up the base of the top. So the next thing I want to do is to create the front design, and I'm going to be showing you guys two methods on how to achieve the design. The first one, you're going to just pick one side of the excess fabric and cross over to the other side, and then you pick the other one and cross it on the fabric this way. All you're just doing now is exchanging the fabric to the two opposite sides. So you should have the base looking like this. So let me go ahead to repeat it again. So I'll take one side and cross it over to the other, and then cross the other one on it this way. After doing that, I'll pick the two fabrics this way and then place them right sides facing each other like so, and then go ahead to join it together. So I'm going to use half an inch to join these two fabrics together this way, and then I'll show you guys. So after I close it up, this is what we have. So make sure your fabric is still the way it was before you went ahead to stitch down to avoid any confusion. So you're going to then open up this seam and iron it out so that it lays down flat. So you're going to open it up and iron it. After that, you're then going to fold the fabric into two. So the base of your top should still be looking crossed like that, like it was at the beginning before you went to sew it. So after that, you're going to then fold this fabric into two this way. So after folding into two, you're going to locate the center back of your top. So remember, my own top has a joining at the center back, so it's made it very easy for me. But if yours doesn't have, go ahead to locate the center back and notch it. So I'll then pick this joint part of my top and merge it to the neckline. The part you notched, go ahead to merge it to it this way on the right side. Just watch what I'm going to do. Make sure the right sides are facing each other this way. So you're going to try to use it to create a collar, and then use your pins to hold it down. So at this point, you should be holding down three fabrics. Use your pin to hold it together this way, and then go ahead to fit the remaining parts into the collar. So fit the remaining rough edge of your top into the collar until you get to the twisted point. So you should be pinning down three fabrics together. So pin it down until you get to the twisted point, and then come over to the other side and then pin it down. I hope you guys understand. You might have to watch this once or twice to be able to get it perfectly, but make sure you are pinning down three fabrics together. So go ahead to pin until you get to the twisted point. So after pinning, before you sew, you can as well just wear it to see that you have the correct crisscross effect. So take it to your sewing machine now and stitch it down up to the point where you can no longer stitch. So let's move over now to the second method. So for the second method, you're going to just join the two extensions together. You're not going to cross it over. Remember, for the first one we crossed over before we joined, but for the second method you're just going to join the two fabrics together. So after joining, you fold it into two equal parts this way. Right now we have not done any crossing over yet. You can see that the fabric is still straight. So after folding into two, you're going to then twist the fabric, just as you can see me doing. Just twist it this way. So let me go ahead to repeat the process. So after joining the fabrics together, you're going to fold it into two this way. So note that I have not crossed over anything. I just joined the two fabrics together and then folded into two this way. So after folding, you're then going to cross it over like this. So with this now, you've gone ahead to create your collar, your twisted design with the collar. So you're going to pick the center of the fabric, the part where you joined, and merge it to the center back, the neckline of the back panel, the center point, and then go ahead to pin it. So you can see I am pinning, making sure that the right sides are facing each other, and then use your pin to hold the center points together. So after that, you then fit in the remaining part of the neckline into your band this way. So you should be pinning three fabrics together just like the first method. So go ahead to pin it until you get to the twisted point where you can no longer sew. So like I said, after pinning, try to test the top to be sure that you have the right design. If not, you will have to repeat the process. So after that, I'll pin the other side all the way to fit into the neckline until I get um to the twisted part. So these two methods, if you do it very well, you're going to get the same result. So pin till you get to the twisted point and then stop. So before you go ahead to sew, make sure you pin the three fabrics together to avoid any kind of confusion. So after that, you can just test it to see that you have the exact design you want, and then go ahead to stitch it down. So before stitching, make sure to confirm that the crisscross pattern is perfect. So I'll take this to my sewing machine now and stitch it down and then show you guys. So after stitching, this is what it looks like. So you can see how beautiful this looks and how easy it is to achieve. So I'll go ahead to iron this out, and this is where we'll end this video for today. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.